Shalom, this is Mary Omni from the World Government House of King David, Holy Covenant Constitutional Enforcer. This is a Republic Notice. The title of this Republic Notice is called 70% of single black women, ? Or 70% of Ribless incomplete black man, ! Okay, the propaganda machine has been at work for years, and for years to marginalize the black woman. She's the supremacy clause of the Constitution, the Holy Covenant. So she's the throne, really. And they can't let this get out who she really is, because they will find out she was the one that determined seats in Egypt and what king would sit on the throne. See, I mean, she is, you know, in the United States of America, there's a woman who holds the crown. And then all the other black women hold positions of still supremacy contractors. Now, therefore, is the war, in order for corporatocracy to succeed, in order for the hijacking of this whole government to succeed, the black woman has to be marginalized to nothing. She has to be marginalized to nothing. And unfortunately, the brain ownership is like 100% complete. Most people in America don't own not even 1 microsecond of their brain. Their brains are owned lock, stock, and barrel, okay? Now, when we take in consideration the black man, he's has proven to be kind of weak in this same sense that his brain can easily be owned, because a lot of them join right and buy into it. If he didn't, he wouldn't be on the sidelines while they keep on talking about the black woman is 70% single. First of all, she's not single. She's married constitutionally. The black American woman is the most married woman on the planet. She married to the kingdom of David. She married to Christ because she gives birth to the Christ seed. She is the woman's seed. That means she married to all Israelites, all Ephraim heirs. She's married to the Judah man because she's Judah. She's married to God Almighty. She's married to his son, Jesus Christ. I mean, so she's married lock, stock, and barrel, okay? Now, if she's alone, that doesn't change the cosmic contract of her being married, and it doesn't change the constitutional Holy Covenant contract of her being married to the Judah man to produce all persons born. It don't have to use the word marriage because it's the supreme contract of the land, and it has the Bill of Rights with it from 1 through 15. And these Bill of Rights are protected by the U.S. corporation that was formed in 1871 to sit right outside the 15th Amendment, the New Jerusalem Wall. Now, unfortunately, since they focus on marginalizing the woman, we have our black men who look external. In other words, he see his woman how other people see her. I mean, he don't have enough internal strength to hold up his woman like the white man did in hanging him. The white man hung him so-called for looking at his woman. That means the white man had enough internal strength to image his woman in a high rank. The black man seems to fall very easily into the trap of determining his woman's worth by what the world thinks. Because like I said, the brain ownership is full throttle in America. And one of this full throttle ownership of the brain is the black man. His brain is in full ownership. Anytime he's running around and he's accepting this 70%, because in truth, she has his rib. So she has his rib, which means she has the balance within herself. She's called womb man. She has the balance within herself. Now, she's the most balanced woman on the planet because she's been attacked more than any woman on the planet in the last 3 or 4 centuries. She's been under a whole bunch of torture than any woman on the planet in the last 3 and 4 centuries. So her balance level is supreme. Her balance level is supreme. I'm going to tell you right up, her balance level is supreme. Now, she's hungering for love and affection, but that doesn't have nothing to do with her internal balance level. That's just something that she feels as though she needs as a human being because she hasn't discovered or haven't grown yet into her full spirituality, where the spiritual husband becomes the priority rather than having a physical man there. And so the spiritual husband cannot manifest until the spiritual husband actually becomes the priority rather than the physical husband. Now, she may be lucky enough to get both. Some of us have both. But as long as she's focused on having a physical there, she cannot go inside herself eternally and find her spiritual husband. Because once the spiritual husband is found, he will manifest, okay? Now, so this black man is in a 70% Ribless state. See, they don't go through him the marginalized because the reason why, because they not worried about him. They not worried about him because they know how to get to him very easily. Because in Genesis 6:4, they know he's willing always to go into the daughters of man. They know he's willing to run around like he is now in a Ribless state. See, in the Hebrew, I see a lot of these brothers know a lot about the Hebrew language, and they can speak and say the Creator's name in full correctness and all that. And I told you before, James 1:27 is catering to the widows and the children and staying out of the world. That's pure religion. But he want to deal with all this periphery stuff because real religion, or pure religion, catering to the widows and children and keeping yourself out of the world may be too much for him. So he want to deal with all these blocks like you in the kindergarten playing, and you don't want to deal with the root of what you really supposed to be doing. And as what he's really supposed to be doing is never in any Hebrew Israelite history to be walking around in a boneless, ribless state. I mean, when a man reaches his 20s and he's missing his rib and bone structure, he immediately begins to go into an imbalance. He's now on imbalance. And so what you see now is 70% of black men is in an imbalance. That means their intelligence level is pretty low because their critical thinking is pretty low. I mean, yeah, they can remember things. The brain is a great instrument. The brain is a great computer. It remembers inputted information, but the critical thinking is not there. His bonification is not there. This man is missing his bones at a 70% rate. And see, those who have some higher intelligence than him know he's really the one in a bad state, missing his rib at a 70% rate, running around talking about the black woman is 70% single. And so this is leaving it open for him to now go ahead and throw his seed right back to the Dracons again, just like he did in Genesis 6:4. And then you'll create this situation where these phony ones is calling themselves the royal family and the 13 bloodlines. And he's the main one who buy that hook, line, and sinker too. This 13 bloodlines or the 13 presidents. He buy that hook, line, and sinker because he don't know you couldn't even make it to the throne unless it was through a matriarch. When Judah and the Hebrew Israelites ruled the dynasty of the 18th dynasty, you couldn't make it throne unless it was through a matriarch. So, what they call in the bloodlines is him going into the daughters of man. And that's an automatic Malachi 2:11 cutoff because this clay and iron don't mix. See, they might call themselves the bloodline. If they was the bloodline, they would be able to survive under the sun instead of going back into the caves. So they ain't no bloodline really, but their brain is owned. So you'll find a lot of black men saying all the presidents is the 13th bloodline of the royal. They follow right behind them just like a programmed puppet. Anything the media tells them, they immediately pick up and start perpetrating, and then they start believing in hook, line, and sinker. See, they don't understand the Malachi 2:11 cutoff. That seed is cut off. It's not only saying the seed is cut off in the book, the seed is actually cut off because the spirit doesn't mix with a foreign spirit, okay? And God people are the spirit people. We're not children of the flesh. We're not children of the flesh. So they talking about this 13 bloodline that was supposed to have the White House presidencies, which are the children of the flesh, somehow belongs to the children of the spirit of the royal bloodline of Egypt, and they buy this hook, line, and sinker. Even though we are children of the spirit, they believe that if they came from Egypt, just like all these other white folks believe, that they have to be us. They're not children of the spirit. They're not children of the spirit, they're children of the flesh. So there's a big difference, because right now the black man in his Ribless state is making children of the flesh again. He's going up into the daughters of man, making children of the flesh, which has nothing to do with our spirit. And some of them are calling themselves black, but they're not black because they're not Judah, whatever they are. They ain't of no royal bloodline of Judah, okay? I mean, if you're not born from the Judah woman, you ain't from no royal bloodline of Judah. Now, they can stay in their phallocyte fantasy because they're full of phallocyte fantasies. They think their phallus can do everything and create everything. You got people who feed them this, who got doctor behind their name. Like I heard Dr. Francis Cress Walson say, well, what happened to these people if they mix? And then the whole audience said disappear. So brain owned, so brain owned. How did they disappear when he phallocyted the whole Europe, whole Spain, and all of them white? How did they disappear? It looked like they multiplied to me. See, this is the fallacy in him. If your seed is that strong, then you should know that a weaker vessel cannot hold the seed. Only the vessel that the seed was, that came from can hold the seed. So you putting it into broken cystines and then talking about my phallus can do wonders. My phallus is the wonder. Phallus is the wonder of the world. He's in a lot of fallacy. And he created a lot of phallocytes. And right now, as you keep talking about black women are 70% single, that's what he's doing now. He's creating phallocytes, so somebody later on to say they belong to the royal Judah bloodline as if they are the children of the spirit. But Malachi 2:11 tells you right there that you're a cutoff. And when God says you're cut off, God means you're cut off. It don't mean that it's some way you're going to itch your way through. No, you're a cut off spirit. You're not of Judah. You're not of Judah at all, and you're not of the royal bloodline of God Almighty. Because if God Almighty blood wasn't royal and his children wasn't royal, then everybody would be of the line of Judah, the scepter tribe. And so there's no need for a scepter if we're going to be all mixed up. What's the need of a scepter? I mean, to have something that you call royal, you must know that it can't be thrown around in everybody like you throwing around dirt, okay? See, if you see it as anything to throw around, then you must not see it as royal, see? And so he's saying I could throw my phallus seed all around and it still be royal, which shows he's missing his rib. This man, critical thinking, is gone. And he's dangerous at 70% without a rib and bone. He's running around as almost like a Neanderthal level without a rib and a bone. And he's dangerous because he's destructive. And he's destructive thinking he's doing his own thing. But he's the one that they don't worry about. Because see, he's the weak one. He's the weak link. The black woman is the woman seed of Genesis 3:15. So they have to constantly marginalize her. And see, they just throw his ass in jail and shoot him in the head. So, I mean, see, that's how they see him, just as something to shoot and throw in the jail. And all these women he laid with vote to make sure that's done, okay? See, that's the dense stupidity of this man without his ribs. See, he don't have enough sense to even get his bone structure intact. And in ancient Hebrew, a man never went too long without a wife because his imbalance and his intelligence level went straight to hell when he went too long without his rib. This is Mary Omni from the House of King David. Shalom.
This is Mary Omni from the House of King David. Shalom.